أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. We will continue with the 11th grade of Fruits of Belief, and we're in the 9th topic. So this 9th topic started off with a kind of a question. Let's read the verses again. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, the messenger believes in what has been revealed to him from his sustainer. So it has to do with the belief in God or the belief aspects. As do the men of faith. So man of faith also believes on what has been revealed. Each one of them believes in God, his angels, his books, and his messengers. We make no distinction, they say, between one and another of his messengers, which is from the section Baqarah. And verse 285. And the question we discussed was about how denying one pillar of the truth of belief is harmful to the human being. It harms the whole belief aspect, where belief was said to be one whole thing, cannot be broken, couldn't be divided up. That was the answer, and we discussed somewhat of how one proof of the one aspect of the pillar also proves the other pillars as well. So we'll start with some examples on how that is, that where one proof of belief in God can also become the proofs of the belief in the other pillars of belief. So first point, belief in God proves with its own proofs both the other pillars and belief in the hereafter. As is shown clearly in the 7th topic of the fruits of belief. Yes, is it at all possible? And can reason accept that a pre-eternal, everlasting sovereignty of dominicality, a post-eternal divine rule, which administers the boundless universe, as though it were a palace, a city, or a country, and makes it revolve in balanced and ordered fashion, and changes it with wisdom, makes it revolve in balanced and ordered fashion, and changes it with wisdom, and equips and directs all together particles, planets, flies, and stars, as though each were a regular army, and continuously drills them within the spheres of command and will in a lofty maneuver, and employing them in duties, makes them act, and causes them to roam and travel, and to parade worshipfully, and to parade worshipfully. Is it at all possible that that eternal, everlasting, enduring rule would not have an eternal seat, a permanent and everlasting place of manifestation? Is it at all possible that the eternal, everlasting, enduring rule would not have an eternal seat, a permanent and everlasting place of manifestation? That is the hereafter. God forbid. That means the sovereignty of Almighty God's dominicality, and as is described in the seventh topic, most of his names and the proofs of his necessary existence require the hereafter and testify to it. So the names of his names, his qualities, and the proofs of his necessary existence. So whatever proves his existence, the one who gives existence to everything, the Lord of the universe, everything points to that he must necessarily exist, and also shows us must necessarily exist means he must be eternal, therefore requires the hereafter and testifies to it. So see and understand what powerful support this pole of belief has. What powerful support this pole of belief has, and believe in it as those seeing it. So here, I think this is one example of how belief in God also proves the belief in the hereafter. So we'll continue with the next one. Also, just as there could be no belief in God without the hereafter, so as is explained with brief indications in the 10th word, is it at all possible and could reason accept that God, the true object of worship, should create the universe in order to manifest his Godhead and fitness to be worshipped? As an embodied book, every page of which expresses a book of meanings, and every line of which states a page of meanings. And as an embodied Quran, all the creational signs and words, and even points and letters, of which are miracles. And as a magnificent mosque of his mercy, the inside of which is decorated with numberless inscriptions and adornments, and in every corner of which are species of beings, each preoccupied with the worship dictated by its nature. Is it at all possible he should create it in this way and not send masters to teach the meanings of that vast book, and commentators to expound the verses of that Quran, and not appoint prayer leaders to that huge mosque to lead all those worshipping in their myriad ways, and that he should not give decrees to those masters, commentators, and leaders of worship? God forbid 100,000 times. So here the proof of the messengership with the belief in God, as there could be no belief in God in the hereafter, so as explained brief indicate, is it all possible and could reason accept that God, the true object of worship, should create the universe? So the evidence of the universe, which has a lot of meanings, is like a book of meanings, every line of which states a page of meanings. And of course, when there's a book, we need an instructor, we need a teacher. So all those meaningful things has to be taught to us so that we are able to read So the whole universe can be seen as a mosque where it's led by a leader, an instructor. Brother Ali, your mic is unmuted. Would you like to speak?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. In the first paragraph, what we notice, there is a fundamentally different approach to belief in the hereafter. Actually, we will follow this methodology. The author will follow this methodology related to other subjects as well. Other subjects of, it means articles of faith, belief. Now, what we notice here, the difference. Usually, generally, in Islamic literature, Muslim scholars based their belief in the hereafter on the belief of the Quran's news, as the Quran mentioned, about the hereafter. So there must be. It is alamul ghaib, that we cannot really have an access to it and examine it. But since God tells us that there must be a hereafter, also we believe there must be a hereafter. Nursi's approach is different. How is it different? Slightly, no. Fundamentally different. We will notice and read the following paragraphs accordingly. Now, he doesn't take belief in God and then I believe in God because I see the universe witnessing to it. These are the basic commonalities between traditional approach and Nursi's approach at this stage. But we have to be careful. Yes, I see lots of evidence out there. I believe in the Creator. Therefore, I believe there must be a Creator. Yes, both it means classical scholarship and Nursi says the same things. They say the same thing at this stage. And then, since God exists, so Quran gives news about the existence of God in such a way that I am convinced, I believe that the Quran is the word of God that Nursi methodologically doesn't agree. This method that the Nursi follows is different. So here the fortification, it means separation between two starts now. Methodologically, although ultimately they say the same thing. They believe, they are not, I'm sorry, it was wrong. They don't say the same thing, but they conclude about the same thing. God exists, and hereafter, existence of hereafter is true, I confirm. Nursi also says, existence of the hereafter, I confirm. But the reason changes. That is important because while we are studying the pillars of belief, basing our evidence on belief in God must be established this methodology in order to have a satisfactory answer or satisfactory evidence. Because if I say, since God exists and since Quran is the news from God, so since Quran mentions about the hereafter, so I believe in the hereafter. That is classical approach, and that's very generally accepted among Muslim community as well, in the history and nowadays too. But Nursi says, as we extensively studied in the 10th word about resurrection, and we studied also in the 7th topic of this, the fruits of belief section, 11th section of the race. Now, let's concentrate on the methodology now. What is the difference that the Nursi approaches? Now, Nursi, first of all, extensively studies the evidence of absolute qualities of God manifested in the universe. That's why the magnificent mosque of the universe, let me see this, magnificent mosque of His mercy, and again, the huge mosque, this the whole universe actually, and also says Quran, the universe is a, how do you say, physical form of appearance of the Quran, something like that. Let me see, I underlined it. Anyways, the universe is masjid, mosque, so everything in it declares Him, but everything in it declares in His names one by one as necessarily to be an absolute comprehension. Now, what is He doing here? He is not establishing His belief in the hereafter because I believe in God and because Quran mentioned, because Quran is the word of God. But he says, because of the qualities of the one who created the universe is witnessed in the world in such a way that each quality manifested in beings must be infinite, absolute. And therefore, if I understand that each quality is infinite, this universe is permanent, not infinite. So these infinite qualities of the Creator require the necessary manifestation of the infinite qualities of the Creator in a permanent creation. Did I make the difference between two approaches? Methodological, very important methodological difference clear? Or if there is anything obscure here, we should be careful, we should just talk about it and discuss this, because methodology is so essential to me. Especially nowadays, we cannot say that hereafter exists because Quran mentions, religion mentions, the Prophet describes it, etc., etc. You cannot speak to people in this way anymore. It is over now. What we have to do now, demonstrate the qualities manifested in the universe, and these qualities necessitates the existence of the hereafter. Not that the Quran mentions and gives the news of hereafter. No, the qualities I observe in the universe necessitates the creation of hereafter because of the nature of this manifestation within this universe. I hope it is understood, and we have to apply it to other pillars of belief as well.
Thank you, Brother Ali. So when I read the description of the hereafter in the Quran, I will confirm that whatever I concluded by looking at the qualities in the universe. Yes, that must be so. That's correct. That's also what the qualities are demonstrating to me. So methodologically, there's a confirmation that is happening, whereas in the classical, it's just because the book says so, or the speech mentions it. Faria, your hand is up, go ahead.
Can you please explain the understanding of the hereafter?
Explain the hereafter.
Yes.
All right, who would like to do that? I mean, maybe we can start off with what does the hereafter mean right now to someone?
It's a very good question, and rightly so. What are we talking about the hereafter? Of course, we took it for granted that, I think Maryam, isn't she? Is not among us. Is it Maryam?
Yes.
Oh, Maryam, welcome. Very good, mashallah. I didn't know you were there. So we took it for granted the concept of hereafter is understood. Hereafter means the things are created here, they cannot create themselves. Do you agree? Can you create yourself? But you have to speak because question is yours.
No.
I cannot create myself, and mountains cannot create themselves, give existence to themselves, so they need to be created. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I look at them, their creation, their existence tells me that, for example, if someone makes you alone, or let me give another practical example. If someone makes the computer alone without bearing in mind that it works with electric power, it works with satellite, Wi-Fi. Does the computer work?
Can you please repeat that?
If someone makes a computer machine which doesn't take into account, doesn't think that electric power must be produced somewhere else. So the computer must work with electric power. In connection with the electric power, computer works. So the engineer should know that electric power must also exist. Make sure that electric power exists. And also, internet system must exist. Otherwise, if he didn't know that there is an electric power and there is internet system, he wouldn't be able to make the machine because the machine doesn't work without them. Does it make sense?
Yes.
We say that the one who made the computer must know and must be aware that electric power exists. There is electric power and there is internal system. So, for example, if someone makes you, can you say that the one who made me didn't know that light exists? Food exists because your stomach needs food. Air exists. Your lungs need air. So he created the in connection with the existence of other things. It means he created you, he created the air, he created the water, food, and the other elements that you need to walk on this earth, etc. Other elements there, light, for example, again. So he created you, whoever created you together with the all things that your life, your being is in connection. Did you understand? He knows sunlight, he knows atmosphere, and also he is the creator of sunlight, he is the creator of atmosphere, he is the creator of food, he is the creator of water. That is why how my body is created. He knows all the connections. Accordingly, he created me. For example, he created my mind and my reasoning power. I think. So he created the universe in such a way that I can think about them. So do you follow me so far? So I can conclude, and let's say you can ask the same question. Can you conclude that the one who created you is the creator of the everything around the atmosphere in this world? Do you understand this?
Yes, thank you.
Now, does it make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, so what we see in the world, the universe is created in such a way that everything is interconnected. So when I see in my creation, for example, in my creation, I see the one who created me knows me. Can you say this? The one who created you knows you and what you need.
Yes.
So from there, we understand that his knowledge encompasses, maybe encompass, are you familiar with this word? Embraces everything in the universe, and the universe is only one unique system. So the one who created you must be the creator of the whole universe. Do you agree?
Yes.
Because you are in connection with the whole universe. For example, you are in connection, you are created connected to the sun. Sun is created in connection with the other galaxies, whatever the galaxy they call it, and then all the galaxies are connected with each other. Then the universe works perfectly as a whole, with no crash, nothing, perfect. But everything is created in such a way that, for example, I am created in such a way that I die. I am created in connection with the tree, and tree dies. I am created in connection with the rain and water. Water dies. They are transient. They are temporary. But the one who creates them has immense power that he continuously changes the universe, everything is renewed, and nothing still we can see in the system of the universe collapsing. It means he is able to keep the system, although it is continuously changed. From there, I concluded the one who creates is a permanent being, although everything is created is dying. Not permanent, but transient, temporary. Do you understand this? And does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Really, really? No, do you really understand? Yeah? Are you sure that you understood? You don't have to be kind. If you didn't understand, tell me or tell us that you didn't
I
understand.
understand.
Sorry?
So far, I understand.
Okay. So, do you want your mom to get old and die? Your feeling.
No.
You don't want. But are you sure she is going to die one day?
Yes.
So what does it mean? You are given a sense which says, I want everything perfect. Not only that my mom will die. No, she wouldn't get old either. I wouldn't get old either. I wouldn't die either. But we are transient. We are temporary. We all die, but the creator continues creating the universe. What does it mean? I am created in such a way that I die, but my senses tell me that I shouldn't die. I am created in such a way that sometimes I get ill, and at the end, become a very old man and dependent on you that Maryam will come and look after me. I know at the end I will become like this. That is how I am created, but my creator demonstrates, shows me in the way that he creates the universe, he is absolute, infinite, limitless in his power. But he created me with this sense of asking for perfect satisfaction in my existence, in my life, but there is no perfect satisfaction. Why do you think you're created, he created you with the desire to have everything perfect and never die, etc.? But he is able to do it, but he doesn't do it here. And my senses get angry. Why I am not given perfect satisfaction in my existence? Oh, my creator, you are able to create me with this way. You gave me the desire to have a perfect life, but on the contrary, you make me old and at the end, give me death. Is there any contradiction here? Or didn't I make it clear? Shall I repeat? Or
Yes,
did you
please.
understand?
Yes, please. I'm thinking right now.
Sorry?
I would like you to repeat it because I'm thinking.
Oh, good. Yeah, no. You don't want your mom die. You don't want your mom get old and lie in bed and wait for you. Maryam, can you give me a glass of water? I cannot move. Would you like to be your mother to be in this situation or not? Your feelings.
No, never.
You don't want her to be like this. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But this sense in you tells you that your creator is going to give death to your mom. You know that. But I don't want it. Why do you think there is such contradiction within you that is created by God? Why do you think God created you with this sense of contradiction within yourself? I don't want my mom die and get old, but if she is getting old and she will die, I know that. So this is something that the Creator is telling you and me, of course, that no, don't worry. Don't you think I am powerful enough to create you again in a situation that your mom never dies, you won't die, and everything perfect? Can I do that? As a creator of the whole universe, can I recreate you after you die? Do you think he can create you, or no, he cannot create me again as he created you from the beginning? He can create you again. Do
I
you
would
think?
yes.
Sorry.
I would think yes.
You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this news, this feeling tells you that the desire in me for having a perfect, satisfactory life tells me, but this desire is created by your creator. You didn't invent. You didn't create it. You are created with this desire. This desire tells you that if you are convinced that the creator of the universe can recreate you as he created you from the beginning, he can recreate you. And because I want not to die, but the creator gives me death, so that it is a news for me, there must be another creation. There must be. This is called hereafter. Did you understand something?
Yes.
So if you are not clear about it, you can speak to your auntie and ask her, or auntie or your uncle, ask them to explain this to you more. Inshallah. Okay? But I'm very happy you asked this question. What is it hereafter? Of course. I thought everybody knows what hereafter is. But of course, you must have heard that akhirat, we will die and Allah will create us again. But hereafter means this. But how can I really be sure that I will be recreated? My mother will be recreated after we all die. Is it really possible? Yes. We understand, yes, it is possible. And also another question, is he really going to create me again? Answer, yes, because he created me with the desire for eternal, unending, happy life. There must be an unending, happy life because he gave this understanding, this feeling, this desire to every one of human beings. I hope I didn't bore you and the people in the room, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. I think the common terms used is like paradise and hell. That's, I think. And the hereafter, akhirah, is rarely used in the culture or in civilization. Is that your observation also?
A good explanation. Thank you. So when we say hereafter, we mean paradise.
Right. So yeah, paradise is something I think everybody relates to and very commonly understandable. Unless Mariam, you have any other thing you want to comment on. So hereafter is another word for like the result or paradise. All right, so we'll continue. I think we studied all this mosque and how this whole universe can be seen as a mosque, and in the same line as that we sent messengers, the belief in God and just as there's no belief in God without the hereafter, so is explained blah, blah, blah. Is it all possible and could reason accept that God, the true object of worship, should create the universe? So in order to manifest his Godhead and fitness to be worshipped as an embodied book, every page of which expresses a book of meanings and every line of which states a page of meanings. So this universe as a book which has to be read. And of course, magnificent mosque, which relates to how the whole universe is in a worshipful mode and everything is worshiping in a sense. Mosque of His mercy, the inside of which is decorated with numberless inscriptions and adornments, and every corner of which are species of beings, each preoccupied with the worship dictated by its nature. Worship dictated by its nature. So the tree, the way it's made, is in a form of worship. The ants, what they're doing, how they are in their existence, are also worshiping. Water, the way it's created, the existence of water is also a quality of that points to the owner of that. Rain, clouds, everything in the universe that we encounter, that we experience, the way they are made are made in a way of worshiping. That's why the magnificent mosque of His mercy. The universe is the magnificent mosque as well. Interesting wordings to describe the universe as a book which has to be read. Iqra, read in the name of your Lord, the book, embodied book, every page of which expresses the book of meanings. So this is how the universe must be read as a book, seen as a mosque. And one has to go into deciphering, understanding the meanings in that book. So that shows that with all that meaning, and the book tells us that there must be a master, a teacher, who must tell us or comment on those to explain to us the meanings, expound on the verses of the Quran, of the universe as well. All right, any comment on this, the necessity of how the teacher, by looking at the universe? So I guess it's the same methodology. Yes, it is, definitely, on how the first paragraph was showing. by looking at the qualities that we are experiencing here, seeing that the universe is a meaningful book, so it must be taught to conscious beings. Also, I'm reading the third paragraph. Also, is it at all possible, and could reason accept, that the most compassionate and beneficent maker, could reason accept that the most compassionate and beneficent maker, who in order to display to conscious beings the beauty of his mercy and the goodness of his compassion and the perfection of his dominicality, display to conscious beings the beauty of his mercy and the goodness of his compassion and the perfection of his dominicality, in order to encourage them to praise and thank him, creates the universe as a banqueting hall, exhibition, and place of excursion, in which are displayed infinite varieties of delicious bounties and priceless, wondrous arts. Is it at all possible that he should not speak with those conscious beings at the banquet? Ooh, so he should speak. He should not speak. Is it at all possible that he should not speak with those conscious beings at the banquet and not inform them by means of envoys of their duties of thanks for the bounties and their duties of worship in the face of the manifestations of his mercy and his making himself loved? God forbid 100,000 times. Okay, so we'll continue. I think we understood this. If anybody has any comment, please go ahead. So the whole universe as a banqueting hall, exhibition, and place of excursion for the human beings, animals, other beings, but especially conscious human beings are able to see the universe.
But the point in this paragraph is to believe in the books. God speaks.
God speaks. Speak to conscious beings. So all the enjoyments that we're getting, all the delicious foods we eat, the experiences we enjoy, the fresh air, cool water, all those needs that are all means of communication. Somebody speaking, telling us that we need to be grateful to the blessings that we are being given. Whoever's speaking to us, we need to respond with thanks.
And also birusulihi, because as it says, at this banquet, he should speak and inform them by means of envoys, prophets, of their duties. It means we need to be informed why am I created here? What are my responsibilities? What are my duties? And duties of thanks for the bounties and their duties of worship. Worship in the face of the manifestation of his mercy. I mean, somebody really favors you a lot, you feel that you have to be thankful to him and love him at the end. So believe in God. Believe in the books that God speaks, believe in the necessity of the prophethood, because of this universe is created in such a way that it is a banquet and we are invited here as guests And the one who prepared this banquet of the universe, I have to say, what is the point in being invited to this banquet? Why am I invited here? Because I didn't come here. He brought me here. So he must tell me why he is prepared this banquet, why he invited me to this banquet. So by speaking and sending an envoy, a prophet, a messenger, telling me that, look, we are here, we have to thank the one who created to us in this way, etc. How? We should present our duties of worship in the face of the manifestations of his mercy. So again, as earlier on, we talked about the qualities manifested in the universe, the way we are created, we are treated in this universe and created as well and treated, necessitates belief in the hereafter, belief in the speech of the Creator, the books, and also the prophethood. Messengers must be here to tell me, why am I invited to this banquet? And what is my duties, responsibilities, and how am I going to respond back to the one who prepared the banquet and invited me here as a guest? How can I respond back to him? So the prophethood is necessary. The very short, but really methodologically very important way of establishing the belief in the pillars of Islam, because if you believe in God and if you have the reasons for it at the very beginning of the text, he said, and believe in God, the first point we read today, the first sentence, if you go back and highlighted it, it is very important methodologically. Belief in God proves with its own proofs. It means God necessitates, also we have to believe that there must be an absolute being who's called God, must exist. But at the same time, the other pillars and the belief in the hereafter, so other pillars in general. Now, the belief in the hereafter is the subject of the first paragraph. The subject of the second paragraph, as it describes that this universe is a masjid, it means everything created declares the glory of its creator. That is the foundation for belief in angels. Melaiketihi. Now, the last paragraph we read today establishes why we should believe in the book Revelation, God speaks, and also why do we need the prophethood? In a very summary, but methodologically, we are introduce a new way of believing in the prophet, believing in angels, believing in the books that God speaks, really. But unfortunately, we are not really very much familiar with this understanding. I should believe in the Quran. Why? Because it is balagha is important. It is eloquence, it is rhetoric is great. It is not enough. The rhetoric is great, but inside what it tells me doesn't make sense or makes sense. But because of the rhetoric, I'm not going to believe in it. I must be convinced with the content of the speech or the book. So we believe in God. Muhammad is a wonderful man. There are very wonderful men on the world. It doesn't necessitate that particularly Muhammad has received the speech of the Creator. Why? How can I make sure? It means, how can I make sure that I should believe in prophethood, messengership? Why? Universe witnesses all this by reflecting the manifestations of the names of the Creator. That is methodologically extremely significant, and we have to try to digest it and use it for ourselves. And also, when we speak about belief, we have to present to others that we love. Why do I believe in Muhammad as the prophet? What is prophethood? How can I make that God spoke to Muhammad? How can I make sure that God spoke to Muhammad? Because I haven't seen it, but there must be somebody or envoys, messengers, who are going to tell me what to do. What Muhammad brings to me exactly matches my human character. So I understand that Muhammad is bringing the news from my Creator, because when you study the Quran, you will be shocked. Really. Only God knows what is going on in my creation, and only God, the Creator, my Creator, can guide me to fulfill the mission of my existence in this world. If only we study the Quran, not only superficially, but methodologically, if we have a right approach, we can benefit from it a lot, even we don't know Arabic. But methodologically, the approach is very important. That is what we are learning, the methodology in this book, or through the writings of this man. Thank you.
Thank you. So the thing about the messengership and what he tells us, envoys of their duties and thanks for the bounties and their duties of worship in the face of the manifestations of his mercy, and is making himself loved. So really, we need to be told to appreciate the mercy and where it's coming from, and that's how the worship or responding back with thanks is something that is important for us. And this is coming to us through the messengership, because I know commonly it's said, for example, the ritual prayers is coming through by the Prophet. He told us how to do the ritual prayers. Is the ascension is very commonly, but each and every little thing, aspect of the prophetic teachings, where the worshipful, how the whole universe can be seen as a bounty and a gift, all the qualities in the human beings, whatever we have in our senses, tools that we need, are also the bounties that we need to be grateful for. That mostly gets ignored, I would think. So it's a very beautiful methodology-wise teaching on how it all connects, all the qualities that conscious beings are appreciating, and then we automatically need to respond back. And this is our own, the way we are made is also being taught to us by envoys. All right, so I think we can we do another one, or should we stop here, or any final comments by anyone? I think this will go through a few more paragraphs, so I would suggest we stop here.
I agree.
Pick up from the next paragraph, inshallah. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. بحرمة سورة الفاتحة.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum as well.
عليكم السلام. عليكم السلام.
Tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah, I'm happy to hear your voice.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.